Hello everybody, this is Steve at Brass Horse Studio, and in this video I'm going to address the Paycheck Protection Program forgiveness guidelines for self-employed persons with no employees. Whether you're a sole proprietor or a single member LLC who filed a Schedule C and elected to be taxed as a sole proprietor. And I have links to all the documents from which I got this guidance in the description down below. Hey, if this video is helpful to you, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It really does help YouTube find this video and push it out to more people who are searching on this problem or who are having this problem. And hey, look, if you're members of maybe some small business organizations and you find this helpful, consider sharing it with them as well. That'd be helpful too. The Department of Treasury released guidance that they are going to accept any borrower's affidavit that they needed this Paycheck Protection Program loan due to economic uncertainty. They're going to accept that affidavit on good faith if the loan is under $2 million. They simply do not have the resources to police that need. So what does that mean for you? It means that if you have a loan amount less than $2 million, which by default you would if you are a sole proprietor, a single member LLC with no employees, the government isn't going to turn the screws on you. That's good. They're going to take your word for it that you needed this money. Larger companies, on the other hand, are going to have the burden of proving that they needed it, or they're going to face some kind of penalties. Now, secondly, if you decided that you either borrowed too much or you inappropriately calculated your loan amount or you don't want the loan, they've extended the safe harbor deadline to return it in full to May 18th. Current forgiveness guidelines are the following, and they are kind of a mess, so stick with me through this explanation. When you calculated your loan amount, your requested loan amount, the guidance was to use your 2019 Schedule C, line 31, the net income line, and divide that by 12 for your monthly average. And then for the maximum loan amount, you could multiply that by 2.5. The 2 was for 2 months worth of payroll for you, and the 0.5 would be for other things like mortgage, rent, lease, utilities, things like that. That was your maximum allowable loan amount. And you have 8 weeks to spend that money on qualified items to be forgiven from the date that you receive that money from your lender, whether you were aware of that date or not. Now, let me break the forgivable amount down. That was your maximum loan amount you could request. Many of you received that amount. Some people I've even heard received a little bit more than that. Now, if you want to return that portion back to your lender, that's your prerogative, or that turns into a loan at the end. So let me break down the amount that's eligible for forgiveness. This is based on several documents of guidance, but primarily the Federal Register. This is the document released by the Department of Treasury on Monday, April 20th. The link to that is down below. For your income, which is called owner's compensation replacement, you are allowed 8 weeks, not 2 months, but 8 weeks of your 2019 Schedule C line 31 amount. So you take that line, you divide by 52 for weeks, multiply by 8, and that is your maximum eligible for forgiveness amount of payroll. Now, they told you that you could use 2 months worth, but this is 8 weeks, and there's a difference of about 7.7% there. The amount that's eligible for forgiveness is 7.7% smaller than the maximum amount that you could borrow for owner's compensation replacement. And that's going to become a mess when it comes time to forgiveness. But now that you know it, now you'll be expecting that. And again, you can calculate that difference, and you can either give that back to your lender, or you can pay it back within the 6 months that you have of deferred payments, or just take it as a 2-year loan at 1%. It's going to amount to a few $100. On top of that, eligible amounts for forgiveness include only items that you could have taken as a deduction, not amounts, but items that you could have taken a deduction for on that 2019 Schedule C. And they must be items that were in place on or before February 15th of this year. So if you opened a new internet account since February 15th or got better broadband or something like that, that amount isn't eligible. That's something you added since February 15th. Now, if it is an item that you could have deducted from your business in 2019 on your Schedule C, it's eligible as a utility if it's necessary for running your business. So that obviously would include probably electricity or water, possibly internet connection, maybe cell phone if it's critical for your business, phone, things like that. Cable is iffy because you can't really, unless your job is to watch TV, you can't necessarily prove that cable is necessary, unless it's necessary for your internet connection. In some cases, that's the case. So you can be forgiven for mortgage interest payments incurred for 8 weeks after you receive the loan, if you normally make 2 mortgage payments in 8 weeks. And these are for buildings that you would rent for your business, not your home interest. Only things that you wrote off in your 2019 Schedule C. If you wrote off a portion of your home, an office maybe that you have dedicated, or a garage you have dedicated, or something like that, then that portion could be forgivable. Okay, you may want to talk to an accountant or talk to your lender about that. Okay, now you can't prepay your mortgage and say, there, I paid more interest on that, and write that off. It has to be what you would have paid, what's owed during that 8 weeks. Now, it includes other real property for your business. So if your business is a car, you can write off the interest payments for that vehicle and the gas and insurance as utilities if that's what you did in 2019. That again is found on the same document. I think it's page 3 in the middle column, paragraph D, line item 3. You can be forgiven for utilities that are necessary for your business operation if you deducted those utilities on your 2019 Schedule C. Okay, so for these items, you need to be able to show the invoice and the payment and show those together, whether it's by check or by digital transfer. It's always a good idea to put your paycheck protection funds in a separate account and show clear transfers out of that account. Now, there's nothing stating that that's required, but it's a pretty fast and easy way to make sure that it's easily explained. You can pay yourself weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, however you normally would. I encourage you to make digital copies of all of these transfers saved as PDFs, save it in a directory on your computer where it's easy to find, and keep maybe a spreadsheet of every one of these financial transactions and what it's for. It makes it super easy to submit that. It makes it easy for your lender to find those things, to justify them, find the PDF of the transfer of the payment and go, okay, I got it, looks good, and go ahead and apply forgiveness for that. You have 6 months of deferred payments on this PPP loan, so you aren't expected to make payments within the first 6 months after you receive the money, and then, but it's a 2-year loan from the time that you receive the money at 1%. You've got 6 months to start paying on it if you choose to. Remember that your lender has 60 days to rule on your forgiveness, to decide on your forgiveness. Some lenders are placing deadlines on when you must apply after the 8 weeks are up from the time you receive the money to the end of the 8-week term you have to spend it. Some lenders I've seen are asking for you to apply within 90 days at the end of that 8 weeks. Now, the PPP is not considered income and will not be taxed. However, you cannot deduct any item in 2020, when you file for that 2020 Schedule C, you cannot deduct any item that you received forgiveness for. So those utilities for which you were forgiven cannot also be deducted when you file your 2020 Schedule C. Okay, so that's the guidance for forgiveness. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. Again, it really does help this channel, helps me continue to make these videos, and maybe share it with others if you found it useful. Let me know in the comments down below what else you'd like to see these short form kinds of videos for. Also share your experience. Other people really do get a lot of help reading these whenever they do that on YouTube for these kinds of videos. They really are helped by each other. It gives people a reason to go ferreting around looking for information that's more targeted toward their problem if they find that maybe you found something helpful. So let me know what else you'd like to see and what you found helpful and what your experience has been. As I've said before, I'm a business professor and a small business owner, so this isn't just my job, it is also my passion, and I love doing this. I'm always helped and I learn a lot by your comments down below when you share your experience and you talk about your businesses. So please continue to do that, and I sure do hope to see you in the next video here on Brass Horse Studio. There's the Brass Horse right there.